She bought the vacuum that morning. Sleek, compact, the kind that glides like it's part of you. She was excited. Maybe more excited than most people would be over a household appliance. But when you're someone who vacuums every day, it makes sense. To her, cleaning wasn't a chore. It was comfort. It was control. But when she plugged it in and reached for the switch, I stepped in. Not because I didn't care about her routine, not because I wanted a fight, but because something had just happened downstairs that changed everything. Moments earlier, I'd gotten a message from my landlord. He lives with his girlfriend right below us, and he told me, plainly, gently, that her mother had passed away. The woman she'd loved, depended on, cried to, leaned on, was gone. Just like that. He wasn't asking for silence. He wasn't demanding anything. He just said, "If you hear loud crying, please be understanding." I messaged back right away, told him it was no problem, offered my condolences, said I'd bring flowers tomorrow. It was the kind of loss that echoes through a home, even one split into 2 apartments. I could already hear the muffled sobs, family gathering in grief, that low, aching hum of devastation. So when my girlfriend walked past me with the vacuum, I hesitated. I asked her, softly, not to turn it on. Not today. Just give it a day, I said. I'll vacuum tomorrow, after work. It's not about the noise. It's about respect. But she didn't see it that way. She said it would only take 10 minutes. Said it didn't matter. Said she does it every day. And today shouldn't be any different. And maybe to her, it really didn't matter. Maybe she thought she was right. Maybe she thought I was overreacting. But I couldn't shake the feeling that pushing forward with business as usual, right above a room where someone was falling apart, was wrong. We argued, first with words, then with tension, then with silence that cracked louder than anything we'd said. She reached for the vacuum again, and I did something I'm not proud of. I picked it up, carried it into the bathroom, closed the door. I didn't slam it. I wasn't trying to punish her. I just didn't know what else to do. She looked at me like I'd crossed a line, like I'd made her small. And maybe I had. That was never the intention. But intentions don't matter as much as actions. And in that moment, I wasn't a partner. I was a barricade. To her, I'd taken control, denied her a simple, familiar comfort. To me, I was trying to protect something sacred, the grief of others. The upstairs-downstairs dynamic in our house has never been perfect. The insulation is thin. Every step, every sound travels. And when you're grieving, even the smallest sounds can feel like an intrusion. I wasn't expecting the world to stop spinning for the family downstairs. But maybe just for a moment, we could spin a little quieter. My girlfriend didn't agree, and it wasn't about the vacuum anymore. It was about autonomy, about being heard, about how we respond to someone else's pain when it conflicts with our own routines. I tried explaining that it wasn't about chores or dirt or control. It was about empathy. But the more I spoke, the less she listened. And maybe the more she spoke, the less I heard. Eventually, the tension faded. Not because we resolved it, but because we both ran out of things to say. She sat on the couch, staring at nothing. I stood in the hallway, staring at the bathroom door, the vacuum behind it like a silent witness to our failure to meet in the middle. I wondered if I'd made a mistake, not in caring, but in how I cared. Could I have asked more gently? Should I have trusted her to come to the same conclusion on her own? Or was I right to stand firm? for a neighbor I barely knew, but a grief I deeply respected. Later that night, I still heard the sobs through the floorboards, raw, ragged, real, and I wondered what would have happened if we'd vacuumed anyway. Would they have even noticed? Would it have mattered? Or would that sound, even faint and brief, have felt like the world reminding them that their loss was invisible to everyone else? That life goes on, whether you're ready or not. That people vacuum upstairs even when your world falls apart. That thought haunted me more than the argument. I know grief. I know what it's like to sit in a room and feel like the world has forgotten you. And I didn't want to be part of that forgetfulness. Not this time. But I also didn't want to be the kind of person who silences someone he loves in the name of empathy for someone else. It's a razor-thin line between compassion and control. And maybe, without meaning to, I walked the wrong side of it. Now, we're just quiet. The vacuum still hasn't been used. The apartment is clean enough, but something between us feels dusty, not broken, but unsettled, like we both wanted to do the right thing and ended up doing the wrong thing to each other. I keep replaying it all. The moment I took the vacuum, her face, my silence, her frustration, the sobs downstairs, the stillness after, and I can't help but ask myself, so, am I the asshole? And now, a moment of reflection. Hey, it's your host from AITA Stories. You know, this one hit me in a way I didn't expect. It's a simple conflict, on the surface, a vacuum, a death, a disagreement between two people who live together. But just beneath it is something real, something we all face. How do we balance empathy for others with respect for the people closest to us? Where is the line between showing compassion and imposing it? And what happens when two people, both well-meaning, see kindness in totally different ways? This story isn't really about noise. It's about emotional timing, about how hard it is to meet someone else's moment when you're holding on to your own. It's about grief and control and silence and love, and how sometimes the hardest part isn't deciding what's right. It's accepting that your version of right might hurt someone else, even when your heart's in the right place. So now, I ask you, if you were in his shoes, what would you have done? Would you have vacuumed? Would you have stayed quiet? Would you have taken the vacuum into the bathroom? Comment below. Let's talk about it. Because these aren't just stories. They're reflections of us. Thanks for listening to AITA Stories. And remember, sometimes being human means not having all the answers, just the courage to ask better questions.